Each of our family members can summon a monster. Dad summoned a tyrant who slaughtered the apocalypse. Mom summoned the demon lord who would destroy the three realms. The sister summons assassins from the city. And although I summoned an immortal with boundless magical power, but each time he could only turn into a dog. Because during the zombie outbreak, our whole family is bound to a system at the same time. It can summon the male and female leads they have written to the real world. The good news is that our whole family is a novelist. The bad news is that all the summoned monsters disobey orders, due to the particularity of our profession. So we all stockpile large amounts of food and daily necessities. Therefore, we are more than ordinary families. You can still hold on for a longer time. And the entire urban system is about to collapse. If you want to live, supplies are essential. Outside, however, there was a large horde of zombies, like a hungry beast. Among us as novelists, there is a common problem that is hard to talk about. His physical condition was terrifyingly poor. Going out is almost like courting death. Just as we are in despair, my sister immediately sat down in front of the computer. Just about to start the computer. Is it still too late to write one right now? I will definitely create a super invincible one. An incredibly kind female protagonist in a cultivation novel. But before she finished speaking, on the panel that appeared before her, the red warning symbol flickered like flames. After awakening his supernatural powers, the created male and female protagonists cannot be effective, and thus could not summon them. Only completed works can summon the male and female leads. Unfinished items are not allowed. The summoned male and female protagonists are not controlled by the author. And the timeline is random. Please summon cautiously. The panels in front of us all issued the same red warning. I originally thought someone would bring me a pillow when I was sleepy. Unexpectedly, it was a deadly death warrant. Just as we were at a loss, suddenly, a commotion came from outside the door. The roars of zombies and the screams of men intertwined. Immediately after, the door blocked by the heavy object began to tremble violently. The sound of the security door shaking and chewing intertwined. The zombies outside seemed to sense what was behind the door again. It seemed to carry the presence of a living person. Screaming with excitement. We haven't had time to react yet. He felt the door being slammed hard by everyone. Suddenly, there was a loud boom. The door was just a small crack open. A zombie's hand reached in through the gap. Fingernails are scratching the door panel. A chilling sound. I was startled by the sudden shock and took a step back, but accidentally stepped on his sister's foot. My sister was in pain, her fingers flapping like a startled little bird. But his index finger accidentally touched the panel in front of her. A dazzling light like a rainbow flashed. Meanwhile, the door panel collapsed like a defeated warrior. A female general dressed in a splendid and elaborate palace costume. Their eyes met those of ugly, rotten zombies. The zombies were as excited as hungry beasts. Excitedly, he grabbed with a paw. Fortunately, the female general reacted quickly and dodged. The female general was both confused and angry. Seeing the zombies glance at us, they curse. What the hell is this? Who are you? I'm attending a palace banquet. Damn, he's time-traveled again. The situation is critical. The female general suddenly pulled out the dagger tied to her leg. Like a sharp blade, he slashed a few times. The floor-length palace skirt was cut into a short skirt. He drew his sword horizontally. He slit the throats of the two zombies that had come forward. Then he kicked the zombie away. The zombies behind were knocked down by the tremendous force. Struggling to get up, he was crushed by the female general's cruel hammer. His muscles and bones crushed like an iron hammer. I was stunned. Is this the martial prowess of the female lead of Her Majesty the Sister? Before we could catch our breath, a dagger stained with purple-black blood, almost pressed against her sister's neck. The female general had somehow appeared beside my sister. He looked at his sister arrogantly and coldly. Now you can tell me who it is, right? Online novel authors generally have a strong heart to face their readers. All kinds of attacks and insults, even sending razor blades. So much so that my sister didn't scream out loud in fright. My sister was stunned for a full 5 seconds before giving a dry laugh. Heroine, no. Miss Yi Juga. This is a misunderstanding. Yi Juga narrowed his eyes. His tone was full of danger. You know me. Night 9 song. You're the heroine I personally created. But the sister explained our superpowers to Yi Juga, and the arrival that inadvertently summoned him. My sister even brought out some creative work. Yi Juga's outline of imagination and that little book. Brother Liquor caught sight of the book title. It felt as if 3 black lines had been drawn across his forehead. So what? You also mentioned it in the book. I earn at least 20 million per mission. It's all the end of the world. Money also lost its value. What reason do I have to help you? It was clear that he didn't want to get involved. Yi Juga turned to leave. Her sister anxiously tried to persuade her to stay. As a result, his left foot tripped over his right. With a bang, his forehead hit the table. My sister held her forehead. Tears of pain instantly welled up. Ijoga, who had already reached the door, turned back. He gritted his teeth tightly, clutching her beautiful phoenix eyes on her forehead, her eyes burning with rage. What exactly did you do to me? Ijoga lowered his hand, revealing the lump on her forehead that had risen like a small hill. Seeing the large bump on my sister's forehead from recklessness, he slashed hard across the palm of his own left hand. A moment passed. Ijoga quickly grabbed her sister's left hand. That hand was flawless, perfectly white. Meanwhile, the panels in front of the four of us all flashed warnings at the same time. Users with this ability are advised to pay attention to their own safety, because many worlds are created by you. Once you die, the world you write will collapse. The male and female leads will also disappear with it. Ijoga was so angry she laughed. Ijoga clutched her forehead in frustration. Forget it. I'm still alive and well. If you don't want to die following me, can you? Don't hold them back. I will throw you out one by one. Brother Liquor said, looking around the messy living room. The front door here has been broken. No longer suitable for habitation. I guess the surrounding malls have also been looted. The best way now is, head to the human base established in your world. Ijoga went out for a trip. They cleared out some of the zombies nearby. Car was quickly found. Then join us in gathering the remaining useful supplies from the house. For example, food, medical supplies, and clothing are moved into the car trunk. Ijoga somehow managed to get a few pistols. He threw the pistol to his sister, Fatty. My sister fired a clean and decisive shot. He precisely knocked a zombie bird from the air to the ground. Ijoga looked utterly confused. To shape the female leads of you and other assassins and agents, I deliberately flew abroad to learn firearms. She was like a slowly turning clock hand. He turned his gaze to Dad, Mom, and me and asked softly, probably won't disappoint me. Dad is like a calm hunter. He took the pistol, skillfully loading bullets. I wrote underworld novels in my early years, to find materials. He even witnessed fierce underworld showdowns firsthand. To protect yourself. I learned some too. Your father once guided me. I also know a little bit about it. I felt helpless, as if drowned in tears. Am I the only one who can't do it? Dad is like an experienced pilot, responsible for driving and riding. Mom sat in the front passenger seat. The three of us sat in the back seat of the car. My sister and I gazed out the window at the world ravaged by zombies. The sky is gloomy. The streets looked unusually desolate. Sand and various plastic bags swirled through the air. Broken wires drifted like ghosts in the empty wind. A wave of desolation and confusion welled up in my heart. Ijoga, however, was reading his novel with great interest. Now, he clearly hasn't experienced everything in ancient times. On the way here, we also scavenged some supermarket inventory. Bring all the items you can bring with you. Ijoga caught one along the way. A plump rabbit escaping from a pet store. I have to say, she truly deserves the title of a strong female lead. Her craftsmanship is also top-notch. Even the cute bunny. It has also become our delicious food. We casually spread coats on the warehouse floor. Prepare to put on your clothes and sleep. After all, in the apocalypse there was no time left to be critical. In a daze I was shaken awake. Brother 2 said someone with ill intentions had broken in. Bang, the iron door was kicked open. It made a deafening noise. Bro, I told you there must be someone here. The words did not fall. The man ahead was pierced by a sharp scissors rushing toward him. His eyes were wide open. He slowly fell to the ground. Immediately after, Ijoga and her father launched a simultaneous attack. A bullet was aimed at the chest of the newcomer. Another bullet aimed at his head. However, the man reacted quickly. He dodged sideways like lightning. This speed is far beyond what ordinary people can possess. Could it be a wind-type or speed-type ability user? Immediately after, several more people surged in. The last was a short-statured ability user. As soon as he stepped in, his sister shot him in the head. His head shattered instantly. All the ability users looked astonished. They seemed completely caught off guard. Forced my way in from behind. The people inside were not panicked. Not even a single opening line. He immediately struck the assassin. Some people react to stress. A fireball instantly condensed in his hand. Or vines grow out. Damn, this pair is actually both ability users. My heart sank. Open the panel immediately. He quickly chose the domineering CEO who had become a cockroach. I filled out 2,000 pieces per strip. Then he pinpointed all the cockroaches onto these 4 or 5 ability users. 2 streaks of white light flashed by. Like a flood, cockroaches swarm upon them. Whether it's us or the psychics, they couldn't help but raise their questions in confusion. Then came shock. Their sanity dropped dramatically. In an instant, a scream grew even more piercing than the last, echoing through the warehouse. Those ability users were still not recovering from their shock. It was completely overwhelmed by cockroaches. The flames in the fire ability user's hand had just ignited. It was covered by a dense swarm of cockroaches. The cockroach shook its tentacles. As if startled, they wildly climbed along his arm, crawling into his mouth and ears. Brother Liquor was clearly shocked by this scene. But he would never miss any chance for an enemy to get into trouble. The throwing knife in his hand reaped lives without hesitation. My mother's face was pale, gripping the gun tightly. His fingertips trembled slightly. Her father calmly placed her finger over her mother's index finger. He aimed at the last ability user known as the boss. That's it, don't be afraid. Just like I did back then. Pull the trigger. The ability user was still cursing. Just as he pried open the cockroach on his face, it was finished off by a single bullet. The world of life instantly fell into silence. The ground was covered in chaos. Although all of this was under the guidance of his father. But for Mom, this was his first time killing someone. He could no longer hold back. He suddenly covered his mouth, stumbled and rushed to the side. A burst of intense dry heaving. Ijoga expressed understanding. He handed my mom a bottle of mineral water. My sister's face was as pale as paper. His hand gripping the gun trembled uncontrollably. Finally, unable to resist, he leaned on a pillar. Like a mother, she vomited uncontrollably. Damn, I've seen bloody scenes more than once. But the first shock was just too strong. Ijoga gave my dad a meaningful look, but he said nothing. Then he turned to look at me. How can you write such a disgusting protagonist? I'm sorry. It was a work I had on a whim. At that time traffic was poor, so he strives to shock readers. Afterwards, he and I helped carry the supplies stored in the warehouse back onto the truck. After that, we advanced another 30 li, until the car ran out of fuel. There are no gas stations nearby. We can only give up the vehicles. Pack some essentials into your backpack and hike forward. Not far yet. A commotion came from ahead. They saw a squad dressed in camouflage, escorting a dozen or so 20 survivors. A horde of zombies bared their fangs and claws, roaring fiercely. The shock made one's ears ache. Leading them was a middle-aged man with a resolute face. The gun in his hand seemed to be out of bullets. He suddenly pulled the dagger from his calf. After poking into the zombie's eye, he kicked him flying. If you can't take care of the money, a zombie behind him bared his teeth. It was clear she was about to stab the man in the back. His teammates' eyes widened in shock. Captain, be careful. The zombie slowly collapsed. Ijoga stroked the spear handle. Frowned. Those dozens of zombies were like an impenetrable barrier. He reminded us. Quietly waiting. Don't act rashly. We, lacking combat power, nodded obediently to show understanding. Ijoga was like a gust of wind. Quickly throw yourself into battle. Under everyone's gaze, Ijoga's figure flickered like a ghost. The knife fell from the hand. One zombie was cut off in half. The dagger's impact remains undiminished. Taking advantage of the momentum, he cut open the chest of another zombie. At that moment, the father was patiently guiding the mother on how to shoot. Do you see that zombie charging at us? Aim for his head. The zombie fell to the ground with a sound. After eliminating all the zombies, Ijoga gently shook the bloodstains off the dagger. A middle-aged man walked up to Ijoga. He saluted formally. Thank you very much for your help. I am Jiangqin, the captain of the escort squad. May I ask your honorable name, miss? The zombie horde is truly an indispensable element in the apocalypse. The dense zombies swarmed like an army of cockroaches. The horizon stretches endlessly. The key point is that it's so ugly it makes you want to vomit. Ji was about to turn and run, but then they heard zombie screams coming from behind. Our gaze turned to Ijoga, this legendary #1 assassin, the female lead. Ijoga angrily cursed. You can stare at me and see what I'm doing. Although I am a killer, but it's still flesh and blood. Isn't it? Everyone fell silent. Then everyone's attention turned to our family of 4. His eyes revealed a gleam of anticipation. Mom and Dad have already opened the panel. They began searching for the male and female leads. And I stared at the male and female leads on my own panel. Whether it's the modern or ancient male and female leads, calling them here was like sending sheep into the tiger's den. Even cultivators aren't allowed. The cultivation novel protagonists in our family of 4 are all abnormal. Powerful coldness and ruthlessness are a bunch of madmen. The pressure of a nascent soul stage descended. It can directly crush us ordinary people into a mist of blood. But zombies don't give us much time to think. From afar you could see their figures. Their tattered clothes draped over their rotting bodies. He could still vaguely see the heart inside his chest, which had stopped beating. One survivor saw zombies about to rush in. Overwhelming despair and panic overwhelmed him. He couldn't help but push the person in front of him away. It directly hit my dad. But his finger happened to hit one of the main characters. A rainbow of light flashed by. A handsome man appeared. He slowly stood up. Her silver-gray long hair cascaded down to her waist like a waterfall. With a casual attitude, he glanced at the approaching zombies and said, "Apocalypse dungeons are boring." And he is exactly the protagonist's situation in the Infinite Stream novel written by his father. His mood was unpredictable, cruel and cold-blooded. He spread his 5 fingers. Countless transparent threads were like spider webs. Each zombie was like a watermelon sliced by a knife, scattered into pieces on the ground. But before anyone could breathe a sigh of relief, Chu-jin frowned slightly. The thread in his hand was already moving in a flash. I tried to wash it away at my father's side. A cold glint flashed in Yi Joga's eyes, lightning-fast swinging of the dagger for defense. Yet the fragile dagger stood before the threads as sharp as blades. It looked fragile. Chu-jin raised his arm with a casual attitude, just as he was about to end Yi Joga's life. But just as the thread tangled, it hadn't yet touched Yi Joga's hem. But suddenly, for no reason, it spontaneously caught fire, reduced to ashes. At this moment, time seemed to be pressed to pause. Everyone was frozen like statues, maintaining the posture from the previous second. Suddenly, a dazzling golden light erupted from Yi Joga's body. A luxurious and elegant fire phoenix soared out. He roared angrily at Chu-jin. "Do you have ADHD? My main character didn't mess with you. Aren't you going too far with your ruthless move?" Black light radiated from Chu-jin's body. A jet-black snake slowly swam upward. Fo Guangtian said, "My child is ignorant. Please be kind to me." The phoenix glanced arrogantly and disdainfully at the frozen Duan. "Then fly to the Night Nine Singers." It then vanished without a trace. The black snake slithered up Chu-jin's arm. "My dear male lead, I beg you, the beings in the dungeon, do as you please. But when you arrive here, do not touch the battle rack, and don't harm the protagonists in their writing." Chu-jin looked at my father with a thoughtful gaze. It seemed the black snake was whispering something in his ear. Then, the black snake quietly dissipated like smoke in the night wind. The shackles of time are unlocked. Everyone regained the ability to move. We were stunned by the scene before us. What is the situation? Could it really exist in the world of novels? The heavenly Tao exudes that overwhelming momentum. It made everyone present feel fear. Facing her emerald green eyes, the survivors panicked and retreated. It was as if he was more terrifying than zombies. Chu-jin let out a contemptuous laugh. "This is not an apocalyptic dungeon. Could that black snake be the heavenly Tao of Chu-jing's world?" The words just fell. Chu-jing appeared beside the 4 of us like a gust of wind. Sharp threads struck like lightning. Father lowered his gaze. A bloody mark appeared on the back of his hand. The exact same bloodstain appeared on the back of Chu-jin's hand at the same time. Chu-jin frowned. A look of displeasure appeared on his face. He sized up the refined man before him with a critical gaze. How could such a person be the one who created him? Then he smiled faintly. "I am Ji Jingzhan. Are you really the one who shaped me with all your hands?" The father said little. "Just switch your phone screen to the writing page. It showcases the worldview, character settings, story outline, and more." And the novel that had already been completed was handed to Chu-jin. Chu-jin took the phone with a hint of suspicion. He flipped through it. The faint smile at the corner of his mouth gradually faded. The phone was almost deformed from his grip. However, such anger was only fleeting. He quickly adjusted his mindset. He threw the phone back to his father. "Look around. This is your world." And so, it turned into the end of the world. "Are you heading to a human refuge?" "How do you know?" "It's not like I haven't experienced apocalypse simulations. I don't want to go right now. Protect these useless people. It's really unpleasant." Chu-jin lost interest in us ordinary people. Then he started harassing Yi Joga. "Which novel are you the protagonist of?" Yi Joga responded with a silver needle shot toward him, pressing the thread into the thread in his hand. He easily intercepted the silver needle. He clicked his tongue. "He has a really big temper. Your skills are indeed extraordinary." On the way forward, Yi Joga suddenly developed a high fever, so we had to stay in an abandoned little inn. Stay for a while. 3 days passed. The high fever has not yet subsided. Jiangqi found himself in a dilemma, because their supplies had been consumed over the past few days. There was almost nothing left, and it's still quite a long way from the S-10. Some survivors in the squad began to cry out in grief. They seemed to have forgotten who saved them. They only felt that Yi Joga was slowing their pace. If you can reach a safe haven in time, receive the protection of an esper. Why endure torment here? Of course, the most crucial point is, Yi-Joga was running a high fever. It is highly likely that they have transformed into zombies. It is also possible to transform into an ability user. But this possibility is extremely slim. According to official statistics, among every 100 people with fever, only 3-4 people can become ability users. Without exception, the rest all turned into zombies. The crowd began to stir. If not for him, we would have reached the safe zone long ago. It's good now. Because of him alone. We all have to take risks. He had a fever. Why should we wait together? Maybe he's already infected with the zombie virus. If his combat power turned into a zombie, none of us can escape. And that situation. I also read the novel about him. He was simply a madman. How about we part ways right now? You head to S City first. My family and I took care of Yi-Joga. I frowned. Take out the thermometer, which shows 41 degrees Celsius. Back then, our whole family had a fever. It also inexplicably reached about 40 degrees Celsius. Afterwards, he awakened his supernatural powers. Chu Jin leisurely went off to hunt zombies. Others went out to search for supplies. 4 days after Jiang Qi and the others left, Yi-Joga finally had her fever gone. I handed her a box of pure milk. Then he gently touched her forehead. Joga, how are you feeling now? Yi-Joga stretched lazily. He snapped his fingers with a snap. A burst of flame leapt from his fingertips. Fire-type ability. Yi-Joga truly became an ability user. And a highly powerful fire-type ability user. And that's not all. The cup of pure milk in his hand was like a phantom. Suddenly, it vanished without a trace. Then, as if by magic, it reappeared in his palm. It was actually a rare spatial ability. Spatial ability users are like the brightest stars in the night sky. Extremely rare. It is rumored that he is once again the leader of the safe zone. He is also a powerhouse with dual-element abilities. One of them is the space department. I couldn't help but admire him. No wonder she's the female lead. It's really admirable. Yi-Joga said casually. On the way, we don't have to carry supplies on our backs. Directly put it into my space. Soon everyone found out. News that Yi-Joga had awakened dual-element abilities. The most excited was the younger sister. 9 songs. As expected of my precious daughter. You are amazing. Chu Qin also curiously leaned over. Fire type, you're also the protagonist. Can your flame burn through my immaculate tensile? That was the incredibly sharp thread in Chu Jin's hand. There are many of them. Unafraid of water or fire. Suddenly I am entangled by them. Even bones can be cut in an instant. The most terrifying part is, Chu Jin controlled the thread with precision. Yi-Joga expressionlessly tossed a ball of flame toward him. Chu Jin used silk threads to block them. But the flames burned for a long time. The thread was not broken. Instead, it was slowly absorbing the flames. The threads instantly turned orange, but gradually becoming transparent. Chu Qin curiously used the silk thread. The table was immediately sliced into pieces. Then a raging fire broke out. Chu Jin was somewhat shocked. This had never happened before. And it seems he can even control whether flames appear. Yi-Joga remained silent. He turned to my father. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Uncle, what exactly is the weapon you gave this guy? A magical setting. The father was speechless. Ability users are divided into tiers 1-9. The group of ability users we encountered earlier. Their strength is only about 1 section. Only slightly better than ordinary people. That's why we can easily defeat them. But Yi-Joga woke up one night. And already a 3rd-tier extraordinary power. We are not stopping. Finally, they arrived at the safe zone of S City. After gathering intelligence everywhere, everyone knows it. The S City safety zone is the strongest and safest zone in the country. Its leader is a dual-type high-level ability user. Many people come here by reputation, longing for shelter. Indeed, it was not yet close. We saw the heavy metal walls standing tall, like an unbreakable barrier. They forcibly separated the desolation of the apocalypse from the tranquility within the district. Atop the enclosed wall, the sharp barbed wire gleamed coldly in the sunlight. He hadn't reached the door yet. We saw a long line already forming. There is no end in sight. The queue was divided into 2 or 3 rows. The first team is for registered ordinary people, divided into 2 rows. The other team is the registered ability users. Only 1 row of ordinary people was the longest. Even if split into 2 rows, still the end stretches endlessly. On the other hand, the number of ascended superpowered individuals is relatively small. The guards on guard duty in the safe zone registered their names one by one. Record supernatural abilities. We also learn. Ordinary people lack supernatural abilities. There is only so much you can do. In the safe zone, only some manual labor is allowed. Psychics, on the other hand, can use the abilities they possess. Accept all kinds of missions. For example, organizing squads to clear zombies on the outskirts, obtain crystal cores, and search for supplies. This is crucial for secure areas. You can access more resources. Life will also be more comfortable. We head to the line of psychics to start lining up. After waiting for about 10 minutes, finally it was our turn. Yi-Joga stood at the very front of our team. The guards began registering information. Name. Yi-Joga's age. 20. What level are the abilities? Dual-linked superpowers. Fire and space. Both are 5th tier. On this journey, by leveling up to defeat monsters and absorbing crystal cores, the heroine's abilities rapidly increased. Leap from 3rd rank to 5th stage. The guard excitedly filled in the information quickly. What kind of 5th tier dual element ability? There was also an extremely rare spatial type. I'll go notify the boss right away. Next is the Chujin period. The guard was clearly stunned by his distinctive silver hair and green eyes. Chu and Jean lived to 354 years. Please don't joke. All right. 22. Hungry. But we all know about this novel. If we count strictly by the literal meaning, Chu Jin has indeed lived for over 300 years. At the age of 22, he was swept into the endless world of quicksand. Later, due to overwhelming power, destroyed countless instances, pursued by the Infinite Loop Theater Club working together. The physical body is destroyed. The soul was imprisoned for more than 200 years. Eventually, he escaped. The guard records the age. He then asked what kind of situation the supernatural ability was in. He hesitated for a moment. Well, thread attack. Chu Jing gently moved her finger. Those almost transparent threads. It shimmered with a cold glow in the sunlight. The lush tree at the entrance to the safe zone. All the leaves fluttered down. Each leaf's petiole bears neat cut marks. The thread in his hand moved like a laser. A lifelike zombie was carved into the tree trunk. This demonstrates his terrifying control over the threads in his hand. Questions that leave you wanting more. Looks like it. The others were dumbfounded. The guard carefully recorded an unknown ability. The suspected thread attack was incredibly sharp. The guards suddenly recruited 2 such powerful ability users. His excitement was evident in his words. Once I finish registering as an ability user, I'll go report to the boss. Now it's my father's turn, Zhouzhan, the Azure Zhan. The guard's pupils trembled upon hearing his father's name. What do you say your name is? The father repeated it again. Advocated war. The guard's pen tip trembled. The lady behind you. Could it be your partner? With all due respect. May I ask your partner's name? His father glanced at him with a hint of surprise. His name is Xie. So, do you still have 2 children? My sister and I poked our heads out curiously. Are you looking for us? The guard stared at us in a daze. After confirming our names, he immediately called out to a colleague. Please help register here. I have urgent matters. We need to report to our leaders immediately. He didn't even ask about our family's special abilities. He immediately led our group deeper into the safe zone. After a series of twists and turns, the guards led us into a magnificent building. Upon entering, you are greeted by a living room decorated understated yet luxurious. It seems specially designed to welcome distinguished guests. After the guards left, my mother asked with a hint of confusion. Ajun, what on earth is going on? My father gently patted my mother's back. I also don't know if the leader of this safe zone is named Shigyur. But I don't know anyone named Shigyur. My mother reminded me, based on our many years of experience writing novels. The leader's partner seemed to have experienced a rebirth. My sister couldn't believe it. Could it be that we are really just supporting characters in some novel? Chu Jin rolled his eyes disdainfully. Sneered. Even the little ones you write can automatically evolve into the real world. Why can't your world be evolved from another novel? I began to agree with this explanation as reasonable. It's simply impossible to refute. My father fell into deep thought. If that is truly the case, then either the leader before my rebirth had some connection with me, or maybe the female lead before rebirth had contact with me. Could it be that this world has already undergone a cycle of reincarnation? This world has very likely already undergone a reset. In a world that has never been reset. We only met them after the apocalypse arrived. My sister sat lightly on the soft leather sofa. Her gaze wandered through the luxurious living room. And our relationship may be extraordinary. You could even say they were as close as brothers. Why don't you suspect that you might be his enemy? He brought you here. It is to make you lower your guard. The goal is to catch you all in one fell swoop. Eliminate future threats. If so, then let's close the door and let you out. I waited several tens of minutes for Shigyur. The chief officer of the safe zone finally arrived. He also brought a woman to bring him in. She has a tall and upright figure. He naturally exuded an air of a lofty ruler. His temperament changed.
而那位女子送进，皮肤白皙如雪。
Her appearance was bright and radiant. She fits our stereotypes about the protagonists in novels very well. Then I noticed. The woman wore an extremely exquisite pendant around her neck. The gemstone in the center shimmered with rippling light. Clearly, this is no ordinary accessory. I sighed inwardly. Indeed, it is so. According to the common plot in novels. Could this be the heroine's mysterious treasure? Hidden within that pendant was a strange space. Mountains, rivers, flowing waters, and all kinds of resources are available. I looked around the entire living room. A female assassin who travels through time and space. A male protagonist who goes crazy in an infinite stream. A male and female protagonists who possess the apocalyptic space abilities. Xiu met my father. A flicker of complex emotion flashed in his eyes. Uncle Zhou, do you remember saving a 6-year-old boy more than 20 years ago? Ijoga said softly. Your family is gathering material for the novel. He really is willing to take risks. Xiaoyu, it's me. Xiu's father looked at him with a look of relief. Looking at this tall and upright young man. I haven't seen you for so many years. You've grown so big. Xiu pressed her lips together and said softly. Uncle Zhou, I am now the chief manager of the safety zone in AC City. You once saved me. Now it's my turn to protect you. After a few polite words, Song Jing looked at Yi Zhoga and Chu Jing. These two are the ones our family can summon the male and female leads from the book into the real world. Xiu's face was full of disbelief. I silently glanced at Song Jin. Speaking of Song Jin's characterization, doesn't it look like a character from an author's novel? At least she's still the female lead. We are just passers-by caught up in the apocalypse. Forget it. Overthinking it is pointless. Being able to survive is the most important thing. Shigeru arranged for us to stay in a place with excellent surroundings. It was even right next door to her and Song Jin. Mom sat on the sofa to rest. You've known him for a long time. Our previous reasoning turned out to be wrong. My father had just plugged in the phone. No, I actually think Shigeru has indeed been reborn. Brother Liquor leisurely poured himself a cup of tea. Both of them experienced rebirth. The aura of those who have been reborn is always unique. I can recognize them. In our conversation just now, I noticed Xiu always unconsciously glancing at Song Jie. Her eyes held a deep affection between a man and a woman. It also seems to carry a cautious sense of regaining what is lost. And when Shiryu learned we had supernatural powers, his pupils dilated slightly. The shock at that moment seemed to exceed his expectations. It seems we shouldn't have supernatural powers. I didn't notice her expression at all. When Xiu faces me, I could feel his sincerity and joy. My father frowned as he spoke. According to common sense, someone of his prominent status, no matter who you're dealing with, you should appear calm and composed. But sometimes he would unconsciously avoid my gaze. Those are people who feel guilty or insecure. That's why they instinctively make such actions. In the end, the father came to a conclusion. There are only two possibilities. One is that in his past life he did something to betray me. The other is that my previous life didn't end well. Relaxed, he crossed his legs. Yawned. What are the doubts? Why not just ask him directly? Guessing is still just speculation. That's right, you might as well be honest with each other. It's good to say everything that needs to be said. Avoid a bad ending. How about I go ask Zhou for you? Your life belongs to more than just yourself. If you're finished, that really means everyone will be buried with you. I didn't expect you to cherish life so much. I thought you lunatics were all ready to die. If I really don't want to live anymore. Back during those 200 years imprisoned by dungeon bosses in the blood-red purgatory. Isn't it self-severed and turned to dust? This world is so wonderful. I don't want to say goodbye yet. 2 days later, Xiu never expected this. Dad would suddenly ask him directly. Xiaoyu, are you and Song Jin reincarnated? This statement left both of them stunned. Song Jin spat out a mouthful of tea. A flash of shock crossed Xiu's eyes. He calmly asked, Uncle Zhou, why do you think so? Dad repeated his analysis from the past 2 days. No way, Uncle, is your intuition really that sharp? Xiu lowered her head. He let out a low sigh. Yes, Song Jin and I really are reincarnated. Uncle Zhou, in your past lives you actually didn't awaken any supernatural abilities. When the end times come, I established the S10 safe zone. Send someone to find your family. But the person sent back said, the place where you live is now empty. It seems you escaped from the Tianjin community. There was no news from you anymore. Then I gave the order. If there are more than 40 men in the state station in a violated age, take your family and seek refuge in the safe zone of S10. Be sure to report to me immediately. Indeed, it was not. You eventually end up in the S10 safe zone. Just like now, after I found out. You will settle here. My father's eyes sparkled with strong interest. So what happened next? Even though you have no intention. But everyone in your family possesses a wide range of skills. This has brought tremendous help to the safe zone. Unfortunately, due to intelligence leaks, we insulted a small zombie horde. By the time they realized it, it was already beyond saving. Under the exhaustion of the war of revolving, the ability users in our team have exhausted all their abilities. Jujitsu is meant to cover for us being unfortunate and being scratched by zombies. When we finally made it back to the safe zone, Uncle Zhou had already become a half-zombie. Uncle Zhou didn't want to lose his mind. Zombies who only know how to kill. At that time, in the final moments of his life, Uncle Zhou left the time for Xiayi. Xiayi brought in only a gun and a bullet.